So when you get your fresh your SD card stick, you put it in the unit, and the unit should come up with that green light and should be kind of blinking like that. So when you insert the SD card, it should go through its initialization and it will start blinking fast. When it's blinking fast like that, it means it needs to be calibrated. So that's the first thing you need to do. Don't know if you can see it on there. So then, once you've got that, you put your shoe on. I've got these scales here. So you get the patient to stand on the scale, and as they're standing on the scale, you need to make sure they've got they've got a constant weight that you guys can measure. So at the moment, I'm doing about 40 kilos. I just stay here for about 10 seconds. What that's doing, it's logging the data the sensor seeing into the SD card, so we can calibrate it. So when it's done, you can take the SD card out and stick it in the PC. Let's got it in the PC. So at least the board generates these 3 files, so you can put a blank SD card in and it will generate these files here. So the first file is the starter file, so we want to open that. And these values here are what the foot sees, or the device sees. So you can see here these values are, these values here are part of the values where I was putting the shoe on, and then there's a peak value here when I stepped on the scale. So we want to ignore kind of values like these, the end values, and the beginning values and the end values. See the same here, there's a peak because I got off the scale. So we're interested in averaging these values here. So if you average these, so we're getting about 27 kilos that the sensor sees. And I was doing 40 kilos. That was the measured weight off the scale. So then what you do from there is you go back to the SD card, you go onto the settings, you open that up, and in here your actual weight and logged or device weight. So in there we stick our 40 kilos, and in here we stick what the device saw, which is 27. Save that. Close it, and then you stick that SD card, and it's calibrated. Let's stick it back in. This time you'll see the light won't be blinking fast. It's blinking slow because I'm putting weight on. If I take my foot off, the light will go out, and that's normal. So that LED should be off. When they apply the weight, the LED will, I'm not sure you'll see it on camera, but it quickly flashes. So when it quickly flashes like that, it means it's taking data, it's snapshotting. So it means you're taking data past your threshold. You can define that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right, okay, now just to show you what we mean about what Logan's just been explaining. I've got the shoe here, and Oliver has just been walking around in it. Here's Oliver.
Hello!
So
I just tested it.
Okay, so he's tested it, he's been walking around, got some data. Now imagine that Oliver is an old participant, hard to imagine, look at him, lovely 11-year-old boy. And he's stood on the weighing scale. So as I said in that slide, you will get the participant into the shoe on the non-fractured leg, get them to stand on the scales with as much support as you want to give them, and with the shoe on their non-fractured foot. Give it 10 seconds or so, that's all. Get them to sit down, and then you've got them sitting down, and we're going to take the SD card out. So SD card here. Okay, you're going to put it into the SD card reader. Okay, it's then going to open up, and you're going to open up the files. Okay, you're going to get the 3 files that Logan was talking about. This one here, you don't need to worry about that. It just gives some instructions in engineering speak, not made for us mere mortals. These are the 2 that we are worried about. Okay, so, or not worried about, but concerned about. If I open up this CSV file, okay, you'll see that this is the data that we've just got from Oliver walking around. Okay, so this 5 kilos here is when he was just putting having the shoe put on. Down the bottom here is the extraneous stuff of having the shoe taken off. So that's what Logan was talking about, is that there will be data at the beginning and the end. Okay, so we're just going to look at where there's a definite trend. Okay, so more or less. And so we're going to get the average for that. Average. And then highlight a load of ones that are an obvious pattern. Okay, and then we end up with 21.488. Okay, so let's say, so we'll go back to here, we'll open up settings. Okay, and so as Logan was explaining, just get this into focus. Okay, so it's slightly out of focus. Okay, so we're interested in these 2 zeros, 2 lots of zeros here. Okay, so we've got actual weight divided by logged weight. Okay, so actual weight, let's say that the weighing scales gave us a value of 35. Okay, and then going back again to the average value, we've got 21. Okay, so it's 35 was what the weighing scales gave us, 21 is what the machine gave us. You press, you try to close it, or say do you want to save it, you say yes. Okay, and then that is now calibrated. So, okay, so we now have the SD card calibrated, and so what you need to do, always make sure that you're appropriately ejecting the USB, otherwise you will break the SD card. Okay, so always eject it properly. So here we go, I've still got some files open, so let's shut those down. Okay, and then we can put it into circuit board. Okay, and it's now calibrated. And if I start putting weight through it, then the green LED will flash as long as there is weight through it. Okay, so that's it, ready to go. Okay, so now it's calibrated. Okay, so you put the board and the battery together, slot it into the pouch, make sure none of the wires are hanging out, close down the Velcro, and it's ready to go. Okay, now just to show that it does work on a Mac, here's the card reader with the SD card in it. So there we go, slot it into the Mac, wait for it to do its magic. There it is. Okay, so open it up, same 3 files. Okay, so the settings still has the ID name and the 35 kilo measured weight and the 21 kilo weight on the measured on the sensor. This one here is always going to set at 5, and that's basically 5, but it will start recording anything above 5% of the body weight. Okay, so it's got that. Opens up the CSV file in Excel just like on the PC. There you go, so it's all there. So there you go, works on the Mac too. As before, always remember to eject it correctly. Great. So once you have finished with the participant at the end of the first or the second week, you take the SD card out, put it into the SD card reader as before. Best not to do that while holding the camera and trying to phone with the other hand. Opens it up. Okay, so you go to the shoot data file, open that up, and you have all of the data that you've recorded. Just highlight everything and just delete. Okay, close it, save it. You'll also have to remember at the end of each participant's data collection to go into settings and reset the actual weight and the recorded weight ready for the next participant when you calibrate. And then it's ready for the next person where you go through the calibration process again.